I can't believe that this is now the third time that I'm doing this. Time is the most frightening thing that I've ever had to experience in my life. It literally feels like it was just a few days ago when I made my first ever recap in 2020. And here we are now, already at the end of 2022, the most significant and most pivotal year for the HarpyEagle. So before we get started, since there are a few more people that are new around here, you might not know exactly why I'm making this video or what this video even is. This is my recap video of the year 2022. And this is a video that I upload on the final day of each year that I've ever been on YouTube. December 31st, the day where I reflect on the entire year ever since January 1st and look back on what I've done and how far I've come. These videos have become a series of mine on the channel, and they are probably the most autobiographical videos that you will ever see me upload. It's where I recall all the things that I've done within the year, and they give me the opportunity to explain to you all what the year meant for me on a personal level, but most importantly, what it meant for my channel. So now that you know what these recap videos are and why I make them on the final day of each year, we can now talk about what 2022 meant for the HarpyEagle and how important of a year it has been. And trust me when I tell you this, 2022 was the most important year ever for the HarpyEagle. And so in order for all of you to understand why this year has been the most important year for me compared to all the other years that I've been on YouTube, you would have to know what my journey has been like so far on YouTube. And I feel like the best way to understand that is to watch the recap videos that I made in 2020 and in 2021. Now if you look at those two videos together, it's 30 minutes combined. So I know that the majority of you wouldn't want to spend 30 minutes on knowing what I said within them, so I'll just go ahead and do my best to give a very quick rundown on what I said within those recap videos so that you guys can have a better understanding of how those years have impacted the importance of 2022 and why this year indeed has been the most important year for my channel. So in my recap of 2020, I was basically just talking about how this was my first year on YouTube and how the HarpyEagle had just been born. I also talked about what inspired me to do YouTube and how I even knew about gaming on YouTube in the first place, and that was with Markiplier playing Five Nights at Freddy's back in 2014. I was in 7th grade at that time, and now I'm halfway through my 3rd year of college. Wow, time really flies. But then in my 2020 recap, I also talked about the specific people that inspired me to do YouTube, and there were 3 people that I mentioned: Markiplier, Sam Gladiator, and Dashi. However, I didn't mention another YouTuber that also inspired me because in that video I was specifically talking about the people that inspired me to do YouTube when I first knew about it, not other YouTubers that also inspired me but did so at a later time in my life. So I think that now would be the perfect time to mention who that other YouTuber is that inspired me to become a YouTuber myself. The other YouTuber that also inspired me, and I mean truly inspired me to become a YouTuber, is Cory Kenshin. The difference between Cory Kenshin and the other 3 YouTubers that I mentioned is that I didn't know of Cory until 2019. This was 4 to 5 years after I became familiar with Markiplier, Sam Gladiator, and Dashi, especially Dashi since he was really the only one that I consistently watched among those 3 at the time. But thanks to the algorithm, I was suggested a video at around April of 2019, and it was a video made by Cory Kenshin. And the video that was suggested to me was Night Shift by Public Combo. I watched that video of his, and man, I loved how amazing his editing and commentary was. And seeing that made me become interested in his content, and it made me want to watch more of him. And eventually, I ultimately subscribed. However, the reason why he inspired me is not because of his high quality content, but because even though I didn't know of Cory for so long, I literally feel like I know Cory Kenshin way more than I ever knew about someone like Sam Gladiator. Now you might be asking, well, how's that even possible if you knew Sam Gladiator for years before knowing Cory Kenshin, where you knew Sam Gladiator in 2015 and then knew Cory Kenshin 4 years later in 2019? Because Cory's YouTube channel actually has a story. There are certain videos that he's uploaded that have allowed me as a viewer to perfectly understand what his journey on YouTube has been like, even if I was never there to be a part of that journey at that time. Because I went back through Cory Kenshin's old videos and watched some of them and saw how inspiring of a journey he's had ever since he created his channel in 2009. And man, 2014 and 2015 were the most inspirational years within his YouTube journey, and that is not debatable at all. But there were things that he did during that time that were so inspiring, such as when he took such a huge risk of wanting to leave college for 1 year in order to pursue YouTube full-time and actually put his all into it, while also making a goal of wanting to go from 75,000 subscribers to 150,000 subscribers within that 1 year that he's gone from college. And also watching his video My Dreams, in which he vented to his 44,000 plus subscribers at that time about how difficult his life was being for him. The moment his channel blew up and forever changed after he played Five Nights at Freddy's and reached his goal of 10,000 subscribers. And just seeing his subscriber milestones, seeing how successful he became ever since then, and seeing the diehard loyal fanbase that he created, which he calls the Samurai, he ultimately became not only my biggest inspiration of all time, but he also became my favorite YouTuber of all time. So the 4 main people that inspire me to do YouTube are Markiplier, Sam Gladiator, Dashi, and Corey Kenshin. But mostly Dashi and Corey Kenshin. Corey's like 45%, Dashi's like 35%, Markiplier's like 15%, Sam Gladiator's like 5%. So that kind of lets you know just how much each of these YouTubers actually inspired me. But this was basically what I was talking about in my recap video of 2020. What it meant to me that 2020 was the year that I started YouTube, and who were the people that inspired me to do YouTube. Now, as for my recap video of 2021, if you really pay attention to the overall tone of the video and the things that I was talking about, it gave off the feeling that it was a more serious and difficult year for me compared to 2020. And what I was talking about in that recap video clearly shows that. In my 2021 recap, I was basically talking about how much my life had changed due to me becoming an adult and starting to become exposed to the real world. It was basically the year that I started life. This was the year when I finally had a job once again after a year and a half. It was also the year when I first learned how to drive, at the age of 19, by the way. It was also the year when I started to truly understand the word expenses, because beforehand I never had to pay for anything. I started paying for my car's insurance, my car's gas, my car's maintenance whenever it needed to be repaired, and just my own personal stuff in general. This was also the year when I finally started to go to campus for college, because beforehand we all had to take online classes because of the pandemic. And so afterwards, once it became a bit safer, I started to go to campus for my classes, and I would go for 3 days a week. And then for another 3 days, I would have to go to work, and then one day I would have to do my side hustle, which at the time was Uber Eats. My life started to become like this after July of 2021. So in the second half of 2021, guys, I was really starting to hustle and truly know what life is all about in the 21st century. Now, while that might have been a good thing for me as a human being who's now starting to take responsibility as a growing young man, it was extremely detrimental for me when it came to the consistency of my YouTube channel in regards to how often I would upload. But come on, guys, with how hectic and how much more busy my life became in the latter half of 2021, the fact that I was even able to upload more than 1 video a month was commendable. So in that recap video, I was basically talking about how difficult it was for me to make a balance between YouTube and my personal life with work and college, but I was still uploading videos regardless, because I wasn't going to make any excuses for myself, nor let anything hold me back from achieving what I want, and that's still the case to this day. But there was one extremely important thing that I talked about, guys, in my 2021 recap, and this is building up as to why 2022 is the most important year for my channel. And the most important thing that I talked about in my 2021 recap video, guys, was that I was starting to lose passion in doing YouTube. Why? Because for all of 2020 and for all of 2021, the videos that I was uploading, while they were gaming videos, which is exactly what I want my channel to be, the specific types of games that I was playing were extremely different from the games that you guys are seeing me play now. What exactly is the difference? The style of those games. In 2020 and in 2021, I was playing console games. But I think a more accurate term to use is that I was playing AAA games on my channel. I used to play Genshin Impact, Ghost of Tsushima, Outlast 2, Apex Legends, Street Fighter V, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, Fall Guys, Titanfall 2, and a few other AAA games. And the problem is that even though they are video games at the absolute bare minimum, they weren't the types of games that I would love to watch YouTubers play. And they also weren't the types of games that I would love to play myself. Because the true types of games, the style of games that had always interested me, was indie games. And within this year, I started to realize that the genres of indie games that I truly enjoy the most are scary games, fighting games, racing games, and parkour games, which is exactly why the layout of my channel's homepage is organized like that. And while I did like some of the AAA games that I played on my channel, deep down they weren't the types of games that I love to play, and they weren't the types of games that I would love to watch Dash or Markiplier play when I was 12, 13 years old. That wasn't the type of content that I watched that inspired me to become a YouTuber. It was coming back home from school and then going onto YouTube to watch Markiplier play games like Five Nights at Freddy's 4 that would make one of the most profound experiences for me within my childhood.
That? What was that? Okay, so the first night is never usually that bad in any of the games, so I'll play through. What the? Oh!
And it was watching Dashy play games like Emily Wants to Play that made me truly fall in love with watching YouTubers play indie games.
What up? It's Dashy, and welcome back to Emily Wants to Play. Last time I got scared as because these motherfuckers is jump. Look, that's what I'm talking about. Oh! Where are you? I don't see the cloud. Oh my God!
And so in 2021, that was the year when I had finally become fed up with playing all these AAA games, and I realized that it was time for a change. Because for all of 2020 and for all of 2021, while I was fundamentally doing what I wanted to do, it was never truly the actual thing. And I think that we can all agree that the style and the overall gameplay of AAA games are very different from the style and gameplay of indie games. So in September of 2021, I made a video called The Future of This Channel. And in that video, that's where I was talking about how my channel was no longer going to be a channel where I play AAA games, but would now be a channel where I would play games that I truly wanted to play, which was indie games. And so right now, some of you might be asking, well, why did you never play indie games when you first started YouTube? If AAA games weren't your thing, then why did you continue to upload those types of games for over a year? Some of you might think that it's because I was nervous of starting out with that type of content, but that hardly had to do with me not playing indie games on my channel. The reason why it took me so long to start playing indie games on my channel is because I couldn't. The majority of these indie games are only on PC, not on console. And so the issue with that is at the time, the laptop that I had was so unbelievably horrible, where if I tried to even open up one of these games on my browser, let alone actually play it, the website would literally crash because the laptop that I had at the time was not meant for gaming at all. It was alright when it came to doing just the basic things that laptops do, but it was appalling for playing indie games. So what I needed to do in order to fix this situation was I needed to buy a new laptop that was truly designed and meant for gaming. But in order to get a good gaming laptop, and I mean a really good gaming laptop, it's going to cost money. And the gaming laptop that I bought and have been using to this day literally cost me over $900. I didn't have that type of money with me at the time, because I had left my job from Wendy's in March of 2020, and I didn't go back to work until July of 2021, which is when I got hired at U-Haul. So that was literally a whole year and a half. For all of the first half of 2021, and almost all of 2020, I didn't work, which meant that I wasn't making money to buy this $900 laptop. So after working at U-Haul for about 2 or 3 months, that was when I saved up enough money to buy the laptop in September. And that's exactly the reason why I made that video in September. Because I was finally ready to start making the content that I wanted to make. If I had gone back to work in July of 2020 instead of July of 2021, then I would have started making the type of content that I'm making now back in January of 2021 instead of January 2022. But in September of 2021, it was at this time that I was finally able to truly start my YouTube channel and make the type of content that I wanted to make. But one thing that I said within that video was that I was feeling a bit burnt out, and so I planned that I would take 2 months off from YouTube, meaning that I would have been coming back to YouTube in November of 2021, and the Harpy Eagle would have been reborn. But unfortunately, in the middle of that break, something tragic happened. In October of last year, I was scammed by an artist named Blue Star Fox, which is a person that Corey Kenshin fans might know of, and he scammed me of over $1,000. I made a 3-hour video exposing him for the black-on-black crime that he committed, so if you want to watch that to know all the details, you can. But because of that, it further delayed my plans of making a comeback to YouTube where I would finally start playing indie games. So instead, what happened was I came back in December and just told everyone that I was doing fine in one video, and then I uploaded one more video for that year, and that was my recap video of 2021. This was my journey on YouTube in 2020 and in 2021. And so now, we can talk about 2022. At the beginning of this year, on January 5th, I uploaded my first video of the year, and it was me talking about getting a new camera. And the reason why I had to get myself a new camera is because the battery life that I had on the camera that I used to record with would only record for 50 minutes at the most, even with full battery. And that is not enough time for me at all, because nowadays I easily record for over 1 hour on average. And so the new camera that I bought was over $100, and that camera allows me to record for 8 hours. Yes, it's called the Ghost Drift XL, in case if anybody wants to know. And so now, at this point in time, I finally had everything that I needed in order to get started. My gaming laptop, my high battery life camera, the websites that I needed to go to in order to play these indie games, and so I was ready to start the year off strong. This was the ultimate embodiment of the saying, "New Year, New Me." And so on January 6th, 2022, that was the day where all the magic had started. Because on that day, I had played my first ever indie game on the channel. And this was the very moment that I had truly become the HarpyEagle. And it was all thanks to this game, Sonic Smackdown.
What's going on YouTube? This is the HarpyEagle here, and welcome to Sonic Smackdown. Now this is a game that I've been wanting to play on the channel for quite a while now. I already told you guys 2022, we're stepping it up. We're going to start playing all these PC games, all these indie games, and this was one of the first ones that I saw, and I was like, dude, I gotta play this on the channel. So, we're finally here, and we're going to get right to it. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Please, Dang! Oh my god, but that was just, oh my god, that was literally the most intense fight so far.
This was the very moment that the HarpyEagle had truly become born. Because this is when I had finally made my channel become what I wanted it to be ever since the beginning. I still very clearly remember that day even till now. It was around 6 p.m. and it was dark outside, and it was also snowing, and it was snowing very heavily. I was in the middle of doing my laundry, but the dryer wasn't working in my apartment building, and so what I had to do was I had to walk out in the snow, in the heavy snow, to the next apartment building that was closest to me in order to put the clothes in the dryer over there. If you pay close attention to my beanie at the beginning of the video, you can still see the snow on there. And that was from me carrying my bucket of wet clothes out in the snow to the closest apartment building to me in order to put them in the dryer. But with the clothes being in the dryer, that was going to take 1 hour to finish. So within that 1 hour time frame, with both of my parents being out at work, meaning that I wouldn't have to be afraid of having them walk in on me, I realized that this was a now or never moment. And so with all the courage that I had within me, I opened up my laptop, set my camera in the corner, turned on my light, started recording, and that was where history was made. It was essentially my first video on the channel. Now I know that my first video that I uploaded might be the HarpyEagle's channel intro from a chronological standpoint, but deep down, I knew that this video of mine where I played Sonic Smackdown was my true first video on the channel. Because this is when I started doing what I actually wanted to do, where I would be a YouTuber that made a channel where I would play indie games on it and have the time of my life. And so from that point on, that was when I started making the type of content that I wanted to make. I would go on to play scary games.
Rise to floor 2.
I would go on to play fighting games. Whoa! Let's go! Woo! I would go on to play parkour games. And I would also go on to play racing games. And here we are now at the end of the year, and I'm still sticking to it. But then at the end of January, I realized that I had run into a problem. You see, to this day, my parents still don't know that I do YouTube. And so at that point in time, back in 2020 and in 2021, every time that I would record a video, I would always do it whenever they weren't home. But that was a really big problem for me because there were a lot of days where I didn't have an opening where both of my parents were simultaneously out of the house. Almost every single day it'd be where one parent would be at the house for a certain amount of time and then the other parent would be at the house for the remaining amount of time. So there was never a time where I could record without the fear of having them walk in on me and seeing all this YouTube gear that I have set up in my room. And the reason why I started to develop that fear is because there actually were a few times where they did walk in on me, but because at the time I didn't do face cam and used my gaming headset as my mic, they thought that I was just playing my games with my friends. So that made me very cautious about when I could record, and this was something that I had to deal with ever since I started YouTube, meaning that this had gone on for 2 years. And so after 2 years, I had finally reached my breaking point, and I made a video where I addressed that and said that I would start recording in my car. And it was very easy for me to do so because my job is DoorDash, and so my parents would just simply think that I'm out at work doing DoorDash when in reality I'm recording a video for my YouTube channel and then going out to work after I'm done recording. And then once I come back home at night after finishing work, that's when I would start editing my video up until the middle of the night. So there have been so many times, guys, within my YouTube journey where I've really had to become resourceful. I could have just made excuses for every single problem that I encountered within 2020 and in 2021. For example, I could have just simply decided to not become a YouTuber by saying that, oh, I don't have a gaming laptop, so I can't play the games I want to play, so therefore I can't become a YouTuber. But I knew that I had to at least start somewhere, and so I just started playing with whatever games I had on my PS4 at the time. And hell, even within this year, I could have just said, oh, I can't be a YouTuber because I don't have a cool room set up like how all these other YouTubers do with their soundproofing in the background or their green screens being placed behind them. I live in a very small 2-bedroom apartment with my family, guys, and we're a family of 4. So I don't have the same luxury as all these other YouTubers to place a bunch of soundproofing over my walls or place a huge green screen behind me so that I don't have a background and just simply place myself in the corner. I literally started YouTube with so many deficits. In fact, did you know that when I first started YouTube, I didn't even have a camera? I literally had to use my pathetic excuse of a laptop at the time in order to record vlogs whenever I needed to. And the way that I did it was I used the built-in camera on my laptop to record myself. And the quality of that camera literally made it seem like my videos were from 2009 or from 2008. If you go through my Me section on my homepage and scroll down to the earliest videos within that playlist, you will see my vlog videos from 2020, and all of them look like they were uploaded in 2009. It wasn't 4K like how everybody's camera was in 2020. I could have just simply felt discouraged about not having all this high-tech gear like all these other professional YouTubers with millions of subscribers, where they have 4K cameras, professional microphones that cost thousands of dollars. I didn't have any of that stuff. When I started YouTube, guys, I started off with my gaming headset mic and my built-in camera on my cheap laptop. And while I didn't use it for face cams while doing gameplays, I used it whenever I would vlog. This journey has not been easy, guys. There have been so many times where I felt so much discouragement. Many times where I literally felt like everything was so unfair to me. There have been so many times where I've thought to myself, why do these YouTubers get to be so lucky where they're able to record in their giant houses and scream as loud as they want to because of all the soundproofing that they put in their room? Guys, if I tried to scream as loud as all these other YouTubers while I was inside of my apartment, I would get my whole family evicted. Literally. So thank God I'm recording in my car. And as for recording in my car, man, you would have no idea how many times I've been randomly asked on my videos why I record in my car. And every time someone asks me in the comments, I just simply lead them to that video that I uploaded called Why I Haven't Been Uploading. At first it was only because of my parents, but then it eventually escalated to me realizing that, oh wait, I can now scream as loud as I want to because my car somewhat acts as one big soundproofing barrier. So now I don't have to worry about disrupting any neighbors of mine while I'm screaming inside of my car. I record at an RTD parking station, and man, there have been so many times where people would actually look at me while they're walking down to their car. And at first it would make me embarrassed, but now I've gotten completely used to it, and over time within this year, I've built up the confidence to not care about it at all. Now you see, here's the thing, some of you might not get how this ties in with me reflecting on the year 2022. I mean, it kinda does since it happened in this year. But I truly do feel like it's important for me to talk to you all about this, because for some of you that want to start YouTube, or have thought about wanting to do YouTube for a long time, some of you might suffer with discouragement. Some of you might suffer with doubt. Some of you might even suffer with the feeling that you aren't being given an equal chance of doing YouTube because you're starting off with so much less compared to everyone else. I know how that feels, because I've dealt with all those three feelings ever since I started YouTube. And if there's at least one thing that I can tell you all, it's this. It doesn't matter how much you start off with. It's not about the resources, but the resourcefulness. I don't have a big house like all these other YouTubers to scream as loud as I want to like them, then I'll just simply record in my car and that'll do me the job just fine. I don't have a camera like all these other YouTubers in order to record my videos in 4K, then I'll just use my laptop and not care about how low the quality of the built-in camera is. I don't have a mic to use in order for my audio to be top-notch, then I'll just use the built-in mic on my gaming headset and that'll serve me for the time being. Never think, ever, that you can't do what you want to do because of how little you have when you first start off. I don't have a big house. I didn't start off with a high-quality camera. I didn't start off with a high-quality mic. But I still pursued my dream of YouTube regardless, because your resourcefulness will make up for the lack of resources that you have. Even when I first started recording in my car, guys, you think that there weren't any problems with that? That it was just going to be smooth sailing from that point on? First of all, when I started recording in my car, I realized that I didn't have any good lighting, and so what I needed to do was first off record inside a place rather than just out in the open so that the sunlight doesn't come across my face and ruin my lighting. And then afterwards, what I had to do was buy myself a light in order to make the lighting of my videos good, but not just any type of light, because I had to make sure that it didn't need an outlet in order to be turned on. And it also had to be the one where I could place it on the top section of my car seat. So basically one that was small enough. And so I had to buy myself a ring light, but the type where I wouldn't have to plug it into an outlet because cars don't come with outlets, but one where I would plug it into the USB port on my laptop, which would turn it on and give me the lighting that I needed while I was inside my car. And then another problem that occurred was that I needed to buy a different type of microphone. I bought the Blue Yeti at around February thinking that it'd be one step forward for me when it came to having better audio in my videos, but that wouldn't be the case if I were to try to use it in my car because there weren't any good places or positions for me to put it inside my car. And so I bought a different mic called the Rode NTG video mic, and with the way that that microphone was made, it was small enough for me to fit it inside the empty space between the head section and the body section of my car's chair. And that was the perfect place for me to put that microphone in order for the audio to sound amazing. By the way, that's the microphone that I'm using right now in this video. And then the final problem that came with me recording in my car was that I needed to find a way to charge my laptop. Because like I said earlier within this video, I now record for over an hour on average whenever I upload a video. But my laptop is only able to record for about 30 minutes even with full battery. And so I had to find a way where I could be able to use my laptop charger while I was recording in my car. And like I said, there's no power outlets inside a car and my laptop charger needed that. So what did I do? I spent some time doing some research to see if there was something in this world that would allow me to plug my charger into an outlet while I was recording inside my car. And then I found out that there is something that could actually do that for me, and it's called a power inverter. And this was exactly what I needed in order to charge my laptop with my laptop charger while I was inside my car. And so with that, I can now record for 3 to 4 hours if I wanted to. So no matter what, guys, barriers will always arise within the entirety of your journey. It will never stop from beginning to end. But you gotta put up with it and not let those things stop you forever. There could have been so many excuses that I could have made, but I chose not to, because that's how much passion I have for what I'm doing, and that's how serious I am with making this become a reality. So now, let's go back to talking about me starting to play indie games on the channel. And so because I started this year off with the new year, new me attitude, I also set up some big goals for myself and thought that I would get anywhere between 1,000 to even 10,000 subscribers within this year. Because one thing that I realized is that it was much easier for me to tell what were the most trendy indie games out compared to the most trendy AAA games out. And that was definitely the case for Poppy Playtime. Now, when Poppy Playtime came out in October of 2021, I saw how much popularity it got. And to be completely honest, it's the Five Nights at Freddy's of the 2020s. Now, when I say that, I don't mean that Poppy Playtime's a ripoff of Five Nights at Freddy's, but rather that the popularity that Five Nights at Freddy's had within the indie gaming community during the 2010s is exactly the type of popularity that Poppy Playtime is currently having within the indie game community during the 2020s. And so when I realized that and started becoming aware of how popular Poppy Playtime was becoming by the day, I began to hope that I'd be given a chance of getting exposure through this game by having another part come out. And well, it did. And it came out in May of this year. Now here's the thing, when it came to the indie games that I was looking forward to the most, in regards to the ones that I felt like would get me the most views, there were two games that I had in mind. Stay Out of the House by Puppy Combo, and Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. And when I had found out that Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 was going to be coming out soon, when I saw Mob Games tweet about it, I made an entire video at around April talking about how I felt like big things were going to be happening soon for the channel. And what I meant by that was I thought that this was the moment where the HarpyEagle would finally be known and make a name for himself. I just thought to myself, this is going to be really embarrassing if nothing happens to my channel. Like if I only get like the same 20, 30 views. But I'm still going to say it either way. For any of you new viewers out there and new subscribers out there that came from Poppy Playtime, I just want you to know something right now. Right now, I have 322 subscribers. I don't know how many subscribers I'll have by the end of this month. Hell, even by like probably next week, or whenever Poppy Playtime gets released. But just know that if what I'm saying is true, then I called it. This might be my big breakthrough, guys. Like I said, Poppy Playtime is about to be like the next big thing, man. And so if I play this game, and I upload it as fast as I can, God knows how many views and subscribers I'll get from it, man. But just know that I'm ready for it. And I'm also ready for Puppy Combo Stay Out of the House as well. I'm ready for that game too, whenever it comes out. I followed their Patreon, so guys, I'm always getting their updates no matter what. Stay Out of the House in Chapter 2 Poppy Playtime. Already got all the updates. So as you can clearly see within the video, I was ready for two big games for this year. Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 and Stay Out of the House. Now at the time, I still didn't know when Stay Out of the House was going to be coming out, but Poppy Playtime Chapter 2 was something that I knew was going to be coming out very soon. So I was prepared for it and even said how many subscribers I had in order to let the future people know how much bigger I got after playing it. And so on May 5th, Poppy Playtime released Chapter 2.
So they're sticking with the old lobby theme. I mean, I got nothing against it, it's just with a new chapter, I was expecting a new intro, but alright, let's get started. Guys. Whoa! Alright, where the hell do they want me to go? Oh! Oh my god! Guys!
And so this was the moment for me, where I thought that the HarpyEagle's life would change forever, and that this would be my breakthrough. This would be the moment where the HarpyEagle would finally be known and make a name for himself. And unfortunately, after I played and uploaded Poppy Playtime Chapter 2, it only got 13 views after 2 days. And to this day as I'm speaking, it only has about 60 views. And what this did to me, guys, was it left two emotions within me. Fear, but most of all, discouragement. I felt so discouraged because I was preparing myself for the big changes that were going to happen with my channel after playing Poppy Playtime Chapter 2, and it never happened. And I felt fear because once I realized that my video was hardly going to get any views, I was starting to question whether or not I would ever get exposure on YouTube. Because if Poppy Playtime, one of the biggest, if not the biggest indie game right now, was not able to get my channel any exposure, then what will? I made an entire video a few days after I uploaded my Poppy Playtime video, and I titled it, I Failed. To this day, I have never recorded nor edited as long as I did when I made my video on Poppy Playtime. I recorded for 4 hours, and that caused my power inverter to no longer work because it burned out on me. And as for editing, I didn't sleep. I stayed up the whole night and uploaded my video at 10 in the morning. I was so tired that I was literally starting to get dizzy and lose balance just simply from walking. And so after I uploaded the video at 10 a.m., I took a 2-hour nap in order to get at least some sleep in. I put all of this work in, and all of this determination, just so that nothing could happen? Kinda makes sense now why it made me feel extremely unmotivated and discouraged when that video didn't blow up for me like I hoped it would. And on top of that, this was all happening at around the time that my birthday was coming up, which was on May 14th. But now, looking back, guys, I'm kinda glad that I didn't blow up after playing Poppy Playtime, because I realized that there was still a lot of room for me to grow, and now, I'd even say that this was my punishment for even thinking about blowing up in the first place. Now, I wouldn't call myself arrogant for thinking that Poppy Playtime was going to change my channel after I played it, but what it did reveal was entitlement. I felt so entitled to being given more views and more subscribers just simply because I was going to play an extremely popular game, as if that was all it took to become big on YouTube. And so after buying another power inverter and having it come in a few days, I just kept my chin up and continued uploading. And so after uploading for several months and very slowly gaining subscribers within that meantime, at around the month of September, I started to notice something. I started to notice that the majority of my views that I would get on my videos were actually starting to come from the algorithm. As a YouTuber, guys, we have a thing called the YouTube Studio, and while I won't get into all the specific details about it, one of the things that it lets you do is that it lets you see the overall analytics of your video, and one of those analytics is where the majority of your views came from. Did your views come from people clicking on the link of your video from a website outside of YouTube? Did your views come from people clicking on your video after seeing the thumbnail on their homepage? Did your views come from people clicking on your video after watching someone else's video and having it recommended to them in the watch page? These are just a few things that we as YouTubers are able to have access to and know about. And so at around September, I was starting to notice that the majority of my views were coming from suggested videos, meaning that it was coming from people that had clicked on my video after having it recommended to them while they were in the middle of watching someone else's video. So for example, let's say you're watching a YouTube video right now. Hell, let's use this one right now. And so all the other thumbnails that you see as recommendations for what to watch next after you're done watching this video are videos that would be categorized as suggested videos, meaning that they were suggested to you while you were watching someone else and you clicked on it after you were done watching that person's video. And so in September, I was starting to notice that the videos that I was uploading were getting views from suggested videos. So you know what this means, right? My videos were starting to be put in the algorithm. And the moment that I had started to truly realize that was when in October I had uploaded my video on the game Bleach vs. Naruto. Let's go! I've been waiting to play this fucking game for so long, guys. You have no idea. What's going on, YouTube? This the HarpyEagle here, and welcome to Bleach vs. Naruto. No. I don't like this. I don't like this. No! Did he hit me? I think he kind of hit me with it. If I did not do the flash step just now. Get away from me. Get away from me. After I had uploaded that video, in a few days it had gotten over 200 views. And the majority of the views were coming from what was called browse features. Now that's a little different from suggested videos because that's when you're already in the middle of watching someone's video. But browse features is when someone just opened up YouTube and they see all these random videos on their homepage. So that means that the majority of the views that I got on that video were from people that literally had my video on their homepage and they clicked on it. So I was starting to realize that the algorithm was actually starting to help me out, and little by little, I was slowly starting to get more exposure. And to make things even better, this was all starting to happen when Stay Out of the House was right around the corner of being released. Since I was a member of Puppet Combo's Patreon, which I still am, I knew exactly when Stay Out of the House was going to be released. And in September, Puppet Combo finally announced the release date for Stay Out of the House, and that was October 6th. Now if you remember, there was a delay on the game, but inevitably the game came out. And so with my realization of the algorithm giving me more views than usual, and me now playing a popular game, I was a bit unsure as to whether or not anything different would happen because of what happened with Poppy Playtime. But on October 16th, I had finally uploaded my video on Stay Out of the House. Oh my sweet Jesus, it is finally here, guys, after years and years of fucking waiting.
It is finally here. Stay out of the house. He's right there. Oh my god, I saw him right there. I saw him right fucking there! I saw him right fucking there! I swear to God, I literally saw his arm and a part of his mask.
This was the second game of the 2 games that I had been looking forward to the most when it came to giving me exposure. And so after I uploaded Stay Out of the House, I had a mini breakthrough. Within just 2 days of me uploading that video, it had already gotten over 500 views. I was at 300 subscribers ever since December 28th of 2020. But then, on October 17th, at 7:29 p.m., I achieved one of the greatest milestones that I will ever achieve in my YouTube journey. I reached 400 subscribers. And the reason why reaching 400 subscribers meant so much to me, guys, that I would even declare it as one of the greatest milestones that I'll ever reach, is because of how long I had been stuck with the accursed 300 subscribers. But when I reached 400 subscribers, guys, it gave me the complete opposite feeling that I had in May after playing Poppy Playtime. It gave me hope. It let me know that it's always possible to make it on YouTube and that growth can be very slow at times. My video of Stay Out of the House became the first gaming video of mine to ever reach 1,000 views. And after about 5 days, I gained almost 100 subscribers just from that one video, because I went from 391 subscribers to 472. And reading all of your guys' comments about how good of a video it was, how good of a YouTuber I am, and how underrated I am, which are comments that I've gotten quite a few times throughout the entirety of this year, it added so much fire to my soul. And it made me realize that all it takes is one video to completely change everything. Thank you so much to everybody. 400 subscribers. I can't wait to see how things are going to turn out. And honestly, I don't think this is going to be the end. There's still more people that are watching the video. I guarantee you there are still more people that are subscribing to the channel as I speak right now. So I'll see you guys soon with the gaming video. And again, let me know what recommendations you guys have for the types of games you want to see me play. I'll be more than happy to play them. And so yeah, let's see how the channel is gonna turn out to be now, guys. So again, thank you all so much, and until next time, everybody, take care of yourselves. And so here we are now, at the end of the year, with over 500 subscribers. I started this year off at 311, meaning that I gained around 200 subscribers within this year. And that's so much better than last year, where I only gained 4 subscribers throughout the entirety of that year. And man, I've been looking back through my videos within this year, and I've been seeing how much I've changed just within this 1 year. My editing, my commentary, my energy, me no longer recording in my house but my car. And also one thing that I really noticed was my weight loss. Just take a look at me from June of this year, guys, and then take a look at me from 2 weeks ago. If you guys are wondering how I've lost so much weight, I'll just tell you right now. I stopped eating junk food and started eating brown rice, salmon, wheat spaghetti, oatmeal, eggs, and I started drinking almond milk instead of regular milk. Now, this is one of the things that I meant when I said that I reflect on myself personally rather than my YouTube channel. But other personal things apart from my weight loss would be my independence as a young adult, because I'm not gonna lie, guys, I've been starting to become more and more independent as time passes, and trust me, give me about like 2 or 3 years and I'll be moving out. But I've also been listening to a lot of music within this year, and some of the music that I've listened to has even been used as background music within my vlogs. Now I know what picture you guys are seeing right now because I made this chart myself, you know, with Michael Jackson, Justin Timberlake, Janet Jackson, J. Cole, and Sync. All these album pictures that you guys are seeing right now are albums that I've listened to within this year. Michael Jackson's Invincible album was actually something that I listened to the first time last year in 2021, but this year I listened to his unreleased songs from that album like Shout, Beautiful Girl, People of the World, We've Had Enough, the original version of Hollywood Tonight, and thankfully I was able to listen to them from this channel called Swen Nelson. That's a channel that uploads a lot of unreleased songs made by Michael Jackson. Now guys, hear me out. Okay, listen. I know you guys can see it, please hear me out. I've been listening to a lot of Janet Jackson. It's very obvious, okay? Just trust me, I know. Loki's starting to become obsessed with her at this point. I even used her song Together Again in my birthday vlog of this year. It all started with me listening to her Velvet Rope album, and then after that I listened to her Janet album. And then after that, I listened to her All For You album. And then after that, I listened to her Discipline album, which was literally something that I started listening to within this month. I cannot, for the life of me, get Love and Rock With You out of my head, bro. I've been jamming to those two songs so much lately in my car while I'm driving. But there have been so many things, guys, that I've experienced within my personal life that if I were to try to explain them all to you, we'd be here forever. But if there's any way that I can wrap this video up, it's this. 2022 was the rebirth of the HarpyEagle. It marked the year where I had to completely reinvent myself and step out of my comfort zone. And now, here we are at the end of the year, and I can gladly and confidently say that it was worth it. So now we shall say goodbye to 2022 and say hello to 2023. Thank you all so much for this wonderful year. It's truly been so amazing, and that wouldn't have been possible without you all. We're gonna keep moving forward and not let anything hold us back. So 2023, get ready.